What's up, YouTube? What's going on, man? This your boy, Trucker Richie Rich. Back on these ones and twos on this late night. Trying to make some dollars here, and hopefully what I'm about to say makes a lot of sense to you new drivers. Excuse me. The title of this video is Fleet Managers and Driver Managers and how to deal with them. I know, like, maybe a week ago I told you guys I was going to make a video and tell you how to deal with these people. Because if you come into the industry, you're going to have to work with these people that are in these offices that help you with the loads, okay? What is a driver manager? What is a fleet manager? Well, unless you're a true owner-operator, what that is a person who manages the load. Their responsibility is to make sure the load is picked up on time, delivered, and any issues you have are addressed with them as far as the load. But sometimes these driver managers and fleet managers get a little besides themselves, I had a little incident that happened to me maybe about a week ago. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way. You guys have to forgive me. I'm cooking in my truck. Let's see. I'm boiling some noodles here on this burner here. When you're out here on the road, the goal is not to waste money and always eating in the truck stops. That food is bad for you, number one. But, cooking in your own truck, especially during the era of COVID, is probably the safest thing you can do, okay? And it's better for you. I mean, home-cooked meal, you can make an excellent meal inside your truck, but that's besides the point. What I'm talking about today is your fleet manager and driver managers, how to deal with them. I've been in this trucking game for about 10 years, and, I dealt with multiple fleet managers throughout my time, and I'm going to tell you something. You can get into some hairy situations with a fleet manager. Your fleet manager can make you or break you, especially in this leasing game, which I've been leasing for about 10 years. I didn't stay a company driver that long in my career. And even a company driver, they can make and break you too. I have dealt with a lot of childish stuff out here with fleet managers. So let me tell you what happened to me. About a week ago, around Hurricane Ida, I was up in Pennsylvania, and I dropped a load up there in Hazleton. And I live down in the Carolinas. So after I dropped the load off, it was a drop and hook, I decided to bobtail home. I needed to make it home for an appointment. When you're on the road, it's kind of hard to keep your doctor's appointments and your medical appointments. It never really works out to where you can get home on time. You either be home a day before or a day after. And my appointment was the next day, so I needed to get home immediately. So I bobtail home, and I sent a message to the fleet manager on the Qualcomm telling him that I'm going to bobtail home. And at that time, he was like, okay, go ahead, Rich, go ahead and bobtail home. So anyway, as I got home and did my vacation, I went back, I came back on the road a week later, and before I went to go pick up a load, I messaged him and let him know, like, hey, I need a trailer, and I need to go pick something up that needs a pickup without a trailer. Well, he sent me a load, right? And luckily here at Prime, we can either reject the load or accept it. And I rejected it because it only paid $600. Now, listen, my belief is when you're leasing a truck, right? You don't want to take cheap freight ever, And see, that's a conflict I have with these fleet managers because, they're under pressure to get loads out the door. They're not really, a lot of them don't really care how much the load actually pays. They're just trying to get the load picked up because they have obligations through their contracts. And listen, I understand that. But while I'm working here at this Prime, and I have a choice to either pick up the load or not, and if it's not in my best interest, then I'm not going to pick it up. Okay, I'm here to make money. I made a video a while back telling you guys if you're winning in trucking and how to know you're winning. And being on the road, I want to win every week. Okay. So anyway, he sends me this load, and it only paid $600, and it was extra heavy, and it was driving through West Virginia. Now, you guys are going to find out I hate West Virginia, and I think a lot of truckers do too. It's like the worst place to drive through. I mean, the hills, the curves, the weather, it's just a terrible place to go through. So let me turn this down a second. So anyway, I rejected it. So the fleet manager got in his feelings, and he sends me a message saying, well, you're going to have to deadhead 400 miles back up to Pennsylvania and get loaded out of there. Now, you know, when he said that to me, I sent him a reply like, yeah, laugh out loud. He asked me, what was my ETA up to Pennsylvania? And I replied to him, never worry. I'll never do that. I mean, it's not my best interest to deadhead. See, let me tell you a quick one. This particular fleet manager used to spin me when I first started here. You know, he'll send me a message like, hey, I need you to deadhead from the Carolinas to Chicago or Iowa. We may pay you deadhead, we may not. And it never worked out in my favor, you know. And I think that's just, you know, I had a lot of learning curves with this job. So, you know, I just wasn't going to do that. So he got in his feelings and we got into a little argument on the phone. And I broke my golden rule. Never argue with somebody who's 1,000 miles away. Okay? What can they do, you know, but be upset? Don't get yourself out of character with somebody who's 1,000 miles away. So I had to remember my rule, and then I got off the phone with him, and I just told him simply, I won't do that. I'll go back in the house. Before I can even turn the truck off and get my stuff out of the truck to go back in the house, I got a load that paid like $2,000 that I picked up down the street from my house. You know, these fleet managers, they will try you. They will. And you can't take it personal. You know, that's their job, is to, you know, you got to walk a mile in their shoes to understand them. I mean, they're there at headquarters dealing with supervisors who I'm sure are on their necks too. And these, you know, I personally, that's my biggest gripe of the industry, you know, as far as being a lease operator. I don't like dealing with middlemen. You know, I really don't. You know, it's because they got pressures that have nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? And, you know, my thought when it comes to a driver manager or fleet manager, especially here at Prime, is that they need to be getting you the highest paying load you can find that you can legally drop, legally deliver. And a lot of times that's not the case. You know, I mean, I got loads $500, $600. I mean, I feel like if I'm leasing a truck, I shouldn't see anything under $1,000. You know, I shouldn't see any loads under $1,000, and if I do, it should be leading me to a $3,000 or $4,000 load. So, you know, that's my biggest gripe about, you know, leasing. You know, because you have to have somebody else in control. Unfortunately, I messaged him today to see if I can put on the choice board, and they're not allowing any more drivers on the choice board. So, you know, you just have to deal with it. Now, it's not easy to switch driver managers here at Prime. It's a little difficult. And I think the reason is our pay is tied into their pay. So I think that they don't like taking money away from drivers. I mean, from fleet managers, unless there's a reason. But, you know, the truth is, to deal with a fleet manager or driver manager, because you're going to have to do it, you know, my advice, if they talking crazy, just ignore them. Put the phone on silent. You know, send them a message that's very direct and very precise. No need to get ignorant or use foul language when talking to these people. And be done with it. You know, be done with it. So I'm going to make a part 2 of this. I got to do something real quick. I'm sorry, guys. But I will get back to you guys more about the training aspect and more about fleet managers, too, when I have a little more time. I'm cooking something right now. Peace.